really good. Dude.
What a great stop to that video. What a great transition.
In the background, I'm like this, like, Dan, Dan,
dude,
Dan, Dan,
that song gets me hyped, man.
It does, dude.
It's a really good song. I want to see Buzz Off like jump off the screen and just start kicking.
I know, just punch me.
Like yeah, just like shaking fools out. Like
that's all I want for Christmas is Buzz Off to brutalize me. Brutal master. Dude, look how good look how good this figure is. You guys, welcome. It is our final stream of the year on the Mondo YouTube channel, Mondo Toy Talk, as we've so lovingly called it. See a bunch of familiar faces, see some new faces in the crowd. What is up, everybody? We are gonna move tonight. We have so much to get to. I don't even have time for fun quips. Don't make a joke. Don't make a quip. We're gonna go right into it. Okay, we don't have time for this shit. So, Hector, Buzz Off, bro.
Right to it, huh?
Right into it, dude. Is this not the crown jewel of our Motu line yet, in your opinion?
I think so. You know, we've been doing this Motu line for a long time, and Mattel's been so gracious to let us completely, you know, do our own interpretation of these characters. And getting the chance to do this with Buzz Off was a dream come true. Like it was, we spent a lot of time going back and forth, and I think we have some great behind the scenes work in progress pics that even more in depth that we normally show.
Yes, this is a special story we're going to get into when we show the behind the scenes, but
yeah, but no, I mean, I think it all came together in terms of a great redesign, great sculpt, great paint, great everything, right? It just
this picture.
Yeah, I love this pic.
This picture, I think I told you already, and I hope Gabby's not listening, my wife. I printed this on a canvas print.
Oh, you
4
did?
feet by 5 feet. It's going to go over our bed.
Oh, perfect. That's a right. That's
she doesn't know yet, but this is her Christmas present.
Yeah. Buzz Off looming over you while you sleep.
That's it. The power. Superman who, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
It's such a great piece, and it's really we always talk about it, but this piece truly is the culmination of every aspect of the story from start to finish of producing a figure, right? It's like you're gonna see when we show you now, it's there's a ton of passion in the design. Everybody was involved. The concept art to the sculpt, to the paint, right? And now it's in production. We're gonna have incredible box art, box and packaging design. It is a total Mondo love letter to Masters of the Universe fans, but even more so than that, I think it's a love letter to fans of figures and premium figures who know what you know by now what we think a figure can be, right? And I think this one lives up to it and exceeds it, and it just happens. Look at this, dude. This is the canvas print.
Yeah, that's a canvas print. I think this is a great way to end a year for us. We had and I think we also have a retrospective here with a lot of other Mondo folk who are going to be jumping in. In a bit here, we're really going to talk about a lot of the stuff that we released this year. But this one, I think, for toys and collectibles, right? For the department that puts out all these cool, amazing figures for Mondo. I think this is like a great way to end it, right? It's a great way to just kind of cap off the year with a really cool character that I think a lot of people didn't probably see coming.
No, I don't think anybody saw it coming.
Yeah, we had a lot of requests for a lot of characters, and trust me, we're gonna get to them.
Yeah, we're gonna get to
a lot of Evil Lynns. That's coming.
Really soon.
Very soon. Evil Lynns very soon. We have some great surprises for next year. And so we're definitely getting to some of those other fan favorite characters, but this was, I think, Peter, you and I, I don't want to speak for you, but it's like our fan favorite character.
Oh, 100%.
Buzz Off.
Yeah. He always stood out because of his color palette as a kid, the original figures. Right. Obviously had a lot of whimsy in that face design. Mm-hmm. But then when the Four Horsemen did their take on it, I saw them in a totally different light. I'm like, dang, I didn't even consider this point of view. And then seeing all the iterations over the years, different takes, different lines, I'm like, man, this really is a great character that lends itself to interpretation, to design. And I knew that once we unleashed our team on it, it was just gonna go next level. So folks,
and I just want to say that I'm so proud of where this line has gone. I think over the last couple of years we've really been pushing it to have its own identity, you know, with like the redesign for Orko, the redesign for Trapjaw and Beastman, and the new Scareglow, right? Like we've been taking some pretty big artistic, you know, swings with this line, and I'm just glad that people have been loving it and supporting it, and it just gives us, you know, the wings, so to speak, to keep going. Yeah. I'm gonna keep you up with the dad jokes. I already started earlier.
Militant dad jokes.
Militant, exactly.
I love it. No, it's true, man. You're hitting it right on the head, and it is an awesome like checkpoint, because as you said, we have a lot to do in this line still, but it's an awesome checkpoint to say, look how far we've come. I feel like if we were a band, we're really just hitting that third album where it's like they've just locked into on something and they're going for it. And what gets me most excited about this line is that you can see the touch, the Mondo touch, whether it's concept art, sculpt, paint. At the end of the day, this should feel like something familiar, yes. But if we're not going to push and leave our fingerprints on it, then we don't deserve to have any time with this IP, in my opinion. So
say we have the touch, we have the power.
Oh, he's unhinged. All right, so I want to bring in a couple of folks here. Let's see. We got Mr. Tommy Hodges. What up, Tommy?
Tommy, hey guys. Those who don't know, Tommy is one of our in-house sculptors.
Yes. I'm also going to bring in Alex here just for a sec to talk a little bit about Buzz Off, okay? Because you guys in this department, in collectibles and at Mondo, have made a huge name for yourselves to the point where I can't personally remember since the Four Horsemen, maybe, like people knowing the names of sculptors and designers on figures. And I say that, you know, with pride, because I'm happy that we're on a team together. And I say that, you know, I mean the same thing when it comes to Mark Bristow, our painter. People are starting to get to know the people who work on these things, and I think it's really, really deserved, because we're going to see here on this journey that Hector and I and you guys can take us through, a lot went into this design. But Tommy, how does it feel, man? We're here. Buzz Off's a huge success. People have been picking this thing up. The pre-orders are through the roof. People are obsessed with it. How does it feel, bud?
How's it feel? Pretty cool. It's I've been doing this for many years, and I'm still amazed that people like what I do, like what we do, and just overall, just happy to be a sculptor.
Yeah, right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Tommy is the person who sculpted Buzz Off for the team, which we will get into in a little bit here.
Yeah. And Alex, seeing, you know, because I consider a sculptor, but also like a concept artist as well. Like I feel like you have a very specific point of view when it comes to designs. You know, everybody knows that you're able to nail a likeness or something based
animated
on
stuff.
Yeah, especially animated stuff. You get something that a lot of other producers might miss. But in terms of being somebody who has a point of view with your designs, I feel like, how do you feel like Buzz Off came together? Because to me, it's like a million hands touched it, but it's one solid thing, right?
Well, I was so afraid of being upstaged by this figure that I purposely gave notes to try to derail it, and you guys didn't take any of them. So, you know, it's for the better, I think, you know, but
yeah, you were like more purple.
Yeah. It's like, does he have to be a bee? Like, can we do like a hedgehog or something? No, I mean, yeah, I mean, seeing, I mean, sometimes there's a level of like intuition when you're just, you know it when you get there, right? And I watching you guys like nail this figure down, going through, exploring all the different directions that you could go in with him based on how Buzz Off has been interpreted over the years, and finding something that is just that like Venn diagram sweet spot that satisfies sort of like all the elements that have come before, but then something new to kind of move it into the next level. Like, very inspiring to see, like, the whole, and that expression, it takes a whole village, like, to see all of you, everyone working so hard to get there in the end was really cool.
Yeah, and speaking of the village, let's start off with the concept art that started it all off, right, Hector? When we first started talking about doing Buzz Off, I feel like it was a year now ago.
Yeah, it was over a year. Yeah, it kind of started with Florian and that sketch you see there on the left of the head. and it was kind of like an early proof of concept of what this could eventually become.
Yeah.
It was just kind of what kicked it off for us, right?
100%.
And then we went to Florian, and he started giving us some roughs. And then, I mean, for him, a rough looks amazing.
Yes.
You know, like that's his rough. That's his rough on the right.
Yeah, his rough is another person's like, I wish I could draw like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you're spot on with the idea that the head design on the left, while it has evolved since from that point, that was the original sketch where we all said, there's an in here where we can do something that is drawing from all our favorite designs of Buzz Off, but still at the same time go in a totally different direction. And if you're keen-eyed, you can see that Florian drew some influence from Kamen Rider, in there, and that was something that really made me excited. So I'm like, man, I never thought to pull from that direction for Motu, and it was a great pull. And so yeah, he had these early designs that we then started iterating on. And let me see if I can do this. Hey,
yeah, we're gonna have some wild stuff in here.
Yeah,
this never made the light of day.
No. So Hector, you and I started noodling on this as well, right? So we started, saying, okay, based on what Florian has, like, let's do some designs over it. And we just kind of came up with an early design of what it could be, like using the way the head is broken up, using that mouth design that Florian really nailed, I think, early on. That also reminds me of like an Oni mask a little bit.
Yeah.
For sure. And so there was a moment there where we thought we were onto something, but it still felt like it was not there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think with this here, we got a little ahead of ourselves. We went like real intense.
Yes.
Like, let's go with like a really intense version of it. And I remember sending it back to Florian, and he was just like, "Oh,
yeah,
let me try to rework this a little more."
Yes, yeah, that's what happened.
But it was starting to be like it was like what started getting the creative juices flowing, I guess.
Yeah, 100%, and exactly that. I think we were just so excited that we all started just drawing Buzz Off.
Yeah,
and then it just kind of like jammed. So yeah, so Florian took, I think you had some notes. And you go ahead.
Yeah, they're on the left. So Florian took what you just saw on that slide previously, and he adapted it. And then I gave him a red line. And a red line is basically what we do here when we are just trying to, portray like direction, and it's just easier sometimes to do it visually. And so this is my red line here, just to kind of like, I wanted to keep pushing Buzz Off into, I didn't want him to just feel like a bug. He needed to feel, I still wanted that like muscle man look that he had in the original show, that he had in the toy, right? It was all just like a buff dudes, right? So I still wanted him to feel that way, but definitely drawing from those inspirations of like Kamen Rider, Guyver, other sorts of like just insects in general. So
yeah, and you can see early on Florian nailed a lot of the accessory designs.
Oh yeah, all the accessories remained unchanged. Florian absolutely nailed them. So we left them as is, and then we got to a pretty good point here. But as we kept looking at it, we still felt like it needed to be pushed a little further. Funny little note there. There's a little honey canister that never made it.
Yeah,
never made it as an accessory. It's a nod to the 2000X show. And for those who don't know, the shield that has the queen on it, that's also a nod to 2000X. So like, we pull from everything, right? We definitely pull from all the lore.
Yeah. So then I think then we took Florian's designs, and then you and I went back over it again, right?
Yeah, and this was another pass. Yeah, this was another attempt to kind of flesh him out a little bit more.
Yeah, this was the first time I got a chance to touch a Motu design at all, and I was like, oh my God. And so like I was just super stoked on it. So just being able to, I'll speak personally, just being able to be in the mix with Florian and Hector, and now you're going to see Emiliano's pass, is just freaking like super humbling. Those guys are legends and so great at what they do. But I'm just such a huge fan of this design that I just wanted to make sure I could, guys, just remember, what about this little thing and that little thing? And they were just like, yep, folded it all in.
Here, a lot of it, a big, you can see what's made it to the final, right? From the stage. You can definitely see what made it. I actually wish we would have kept the little stinger on his hand.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's like a RoboCop.
Yeah, it's like RoboCop. Yeah, definitely. We were thinking about RoboCop, or if it would just like come out of his the middle of his, like right underneath that like armor plate.
Yeah, we'll just pack in some toothpicks with every figure, and
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
But then Emiliano stepped in.
Yes.
And Emiliano really was like this amazing food processor who took all these ingredients and kind of like chopped it all up and mixed it into something that I think we all were aiming towards in our own way. And then getting to see his pass on it. For those of you who don't know Emiliano, he's been involved with Master of the Universe for decades.
Yeah,
and
I would say the architect of this line, right?
100%.
Without Emiliano, this line wouldn't exist.
Yeah. And so Emiliano did this interpretation, which immediately we're like, I remember Hector. I remember we're like, yep, done, nailed it.
Yeah. It finally connected, right? It felt that it hit all upon all the notes that we were giving, and like the vibe we were going for.
And this is the moment where we get the concept art. Obviously, we send it to Mattel. They have to approve it, and they're great. And so it was approved. And then we took the designs, and then we sent them over to Tommy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to me, and I think, Hector, you agree with this, we already thought it had come together, but Tommy's sculpt really started to make it feel real, and it made it feel like all these different design features and textures and patterns could work together. Because it's something when it works on a concept art in 2D, but when it works in 3D, you get a real sense of confidence. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and and Tommy, you could speak to this a little bit, but I think that Tommy being obviously a part of the team and seeing this evolution of the character, and hearing me and Peter talk about it so much and talk about our references. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy, but I think you took all that, you internalized all of that, and when you went to sculpt, it was like an instant, like you knew how it needed to look, because you nailed, not only did you nail the details, but the proportions were so important for this character to look strong, but yet still lean, mobile, but still intimidating, so yeah.
Well, I mean, what the way we work is there's like a thread that we could all see, and even though I wasn't included in the beginning, I was watching from the start, but I was really just internalizing it until you said, "Go ahead, Tommy, start sculpting." It kind of looked like it was overworked, or you guys
I agree with that
too much. So I was like, let me just kind of bug it out a little bit, kind of just blend all the pieces, make it organic, I guess you can say. So
I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah. But yeah, you totally like brought it together, man. And then so seeing it again starting to take shape, because the way this works internally, you guys watching, is we have meetings multiple times a week where we check in on stuff, and every time Tommy was going to show off the next iteration or next pass, I was like, oof, cannot wait. It was so cool. It's like my own personal Hall H. And Tommy showed these off, and I was just blown away. Dude, how did it, like, as a sculptor, like you just talked about, some areas felt overworked, some can be brought in, but it didn't feel like anything was cut out. And I know some things must have been simplified and reduced, but it didn't feel like it. It felt like everything was there.
Yeah, cut out, no, but blended. I kind of just blocked in the main landmarks. I brought the toy with me.
Oh, nice.
And the main landmarks are the broad yellows, the big darts, the bare arms, and the legs, and of course his yellow face.
Yeah.
But I thought no matter what I did, that part needs to be readable. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even from a distance, it has to look like Buzz-Off.
Yeah.
But they can't make it too spiky, too, I don't know, tribal, like where the lines go all swirly and get all crazy. So just 100%. Try to make it look like the way I thought he's a knight, a form of a knight.
That's cool.
But he's like probably the highest level of knighthood in the B world. So
yeah, we talked about that actually. We talked about like what would his class be, like what would his ranking be? He's like a soldier, right? So is he like is he a general? Like, so he should have like a commanding pose. He should feel like regal but intimidating at the same time. So
that's where the collar.
The collar. Yeah,
such a simple thing, but like if you think about Alucard and Dracula or Castlevania, they all have that beautiful collar. So I kind of thought of that, and
Yeah.
the fancier knights, they all have some kind of awesome collar armor.
Yeah. And this
trying
is
to make
just
him look noble.
yes.
'Cause he loves his race and his bee people. Forget what they're called.
Andrenids.
And
Adrenals. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
No, it definitely has a sense of that storytelling, whether it's in the accessories or that collar. I think went such a long way, and I think that was an original Florian design that made its way all the way through.
Well, yeah, it was one of the first things I requested from Florian.
Okay,
add
cool.
The collar,
Yeah,
because
we saw that in something. Where do you remember where we
no,
pulled
it
that?
was,
from?
I mean, I think the Batman had just come out, and the Batman,
maybe
Batman
that was
has
it.
that little collar back here that I
Yeah.
thought gave him such a great silhouette. So it's like, oh, how can we explore that? And then as we started digging through like Kamen Rider and Guyver and stuff like that, it's actually a pretty common thread.
Yeah. Nice.
In some of the newer Kamen Rider and Guyver stuff, where it's like they do have like their exoskeleton forms, a sort of little pop collar. And I don't know,
I think we saw some insect
cool.
examples too, that like, where there was certain beetles or whatever had a certain kind of carapace that would crawl up, so their head would protrude. So we found a lot of justification for it in different reference images. But yeah, man, what a masterpiece, man. I really think, I mean, you're always on another level, and I feel like this one, it just felt like something even clicked even higher. So hats off to you, dude. It's so beautiful, and getting to see it come all this way. By the way, I just love this image, going from the original concept art to the sculpt version of this silhouette. And then a very important role once Tommy's done, right, when we love it and it's checked and all that kind of stuff, it gets printed out, 3D printed, and then we send the super detailed 3D prints, and we send them over to Mark Bristow, who starts to paint these things up. And then if the sculpt makes it feel real, the paint makes it feel like it's going to be in the world, like it's going to be a real thing in the world, right? Because those colors finally shine when Mark gets a hold of it, right, Hector?
Yeah, absolutely. He did a fantastic job on this one. Again, interpreting the concept art, but not, but dialing it back a bit. So like you're saying, like it can live in that real world kind of aesthetic, even though we've established that we're not afraid to go colorful with this line. Like we definitely go colorful with all the characters. It's just, we don't go like, super bright colors. Right. So I think Mark found a nice balance for all the shades of brown and tan, and was able to, separate everything where you could read all of his parts very, very well.
Especially the muscle tissue. I can't wait for people to get this in hand, because there's this element of the design.
Yeah, there's little muscle striations in between.
Yes. And when you look at it at first glance, like Tommy was saying, you can have all these design elements, but it needs to read buzz off, right? In the first glance. And so the same thing is true with the paint, obviously. So Mark is able to nail these colors that if you look at it up close, you're rewarded and noticing the difference in textures and anatomy. But up at a distance, or like on your first glance, it's just buzz off. So it's just so nice to see it. And then here it is, the final look at buzz off there, standing just like the concept art. It's crazy to see. It's crazy that we're here. But yeah, man, I'm so stoked on it, dude.
And shout out to Raul again for his amazing photos.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you all follow him at this point.
He's like the fifth Beatle, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, it's great. I'm so happy with how this project turned out. And are we just about to wrap it up with Buzz Off, because we have an announcement to make?
Oh yeah, we have a big announcement. Yeah, so okay, Hector, we have been getting a lot. First of all, Buzz Off's been crushing, right? We're like, wow, people love Buzz Off, even though he's not like the main good guy or the main bad guy or whatever. Like, people love it, and everyone's going nuts pre-ordering it. But there's been a lot of people who've been hitting us up and say, hey, I want to get Buzz Off, but it's right before Christmas. You guys, what are you thinking? Right before the holidays. I'm shopping for my family, not for myself. Or is there any way you guys can do something about that? So we spoke with the team internally, and we were able to extend the timed edition window, right?
Yes, we're extending it to the 30th.
The 30th.
Yes.
So January 30th.
No, December 30th.
December 30th. See? I'm checking with you.
Not for a whole month, but we are extending it
too
until after the holidays. It was supposed to, the timed edition was going to end this Friday. on the 20th, but
Yeah.
we're getting another 10 days, just about, and on the 30th.
For some folks, that's another paycheck or whatever.
Or whatever it is. We just wanted to extend and just allow them to be available a little longer. As some of you know, like a lot of these timed editions never really, there's no regular edition that comes out or anything
Not
like
always,
that.
yeah.
So in this particular case, we decided it'd be nice for you all and for everyone to extend it.
We really want as many people as possible to get this in hand because it's a masterpiece, man. It's just that good.
It's so cool.
Awesome. All right, so that's great news, and that's Buzz Off. So remember, if you are considering Buzz Off, he is up at the Mondo shop right now, mondoshop.com. It's a big banner on the main site. You click on it, it's going to get all these details, which will be updated very soon. So December 30th.
We'll update that.
Yeah, you guys are the first to hear about it, but you can go through, look at all the great photos here, and there are so many. As Hector said, Raul does a great job of getting all these photos, the ones that look like they're in Eternia and the ones that just let you appreciate the detailed work as well. So take some time and go pour over them. They're awesome over at mondoshop.com, and make sure you get them pre-ordered because I don't think he'll be coming back. All right. So with that down, let us bring in a hell of a lot more people. All right. So first off, I'm going to punt Brewer and Tommy for a second. I'll bring you back. Don't worry. Bye. And so Hector, real quick, dude, this image that you sent over earlier, what exactly is this for people who don't know?
This is all of our releases that we did this year.
That's insane. And so,
that's not counting like the regular editions and all that. But these are the main releases that we put out this year, which is wild to me.
It's insane. I tried doing math and like multiplying this side by this side, and I just got stuck. But it looks like a lot.
It's like over 70 or 80. It's like close to 80. Yeah.
Holy crap. So yeah, right there you can see what we're up to this year in the figure side of things. We had a ton of great releases from different IP. Maybe we can make this image available at some point on our site.
More or no?
Let me try to do it. I think I can. I'm going to break my computer. Oh, wrong window. Here we go. Okay, look, I did it. Can you see it?
You did it.
Yeah. So there's a ton of stuff here. We got all the Kong and Godzilla X Kong stuff, all the American Werewolf figures, the creature, the Demogorgon, the turtles, the vessels are here. Jesse's Ghidorah, Groman's Godzillas, Octeals, Venom, the Marvel figures are here. The DC figures are here. Our squads looking really good together, right? All Real Monsters, Daria, and then of course our Ghostbusters, which we'll be talking about a little bit.
The launch of our 112th line, 112th category.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And man, vehicles. Look at this, Scaremare, an original character. We kicked off Thundercats. It's been a year, dude.
It has. Right? It has. It's been a year of like some really big, heavy hitter releases for us, and just overall, I think a testament. And just when I put this together, and I was looking at the, all the stuff that we did. It's just crazy. A testament of the team, and what everyone's, how hard everyone worked.
100%. And here I have really cool. This is nice. This is some of our records. I'm going to bring in two of my friends from Records. Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on? And then we got Cam. Cam is scurrying in the backstage somewhere in the green room. He's running around without his shirt on. Hold on. There he is. Thanks.
I'm glad I was able to get a shirt on before you put me
real quick. So for those of you who don't know, Cam and Chelsea work super hard running our music division over here at Mondo. What would you guys say in an elevator pitch is what you guys do? What do you do here?
Everything.
One sentence only.
I mean, we both kind of do a lot of the same things, but a lot of it and kind of cross over. So our titles, don't necessarily explain it all, but like A&R on my side, label management on his side, we kind of come together on creative. We find projects, start projects, and see them through to the end.
Totally. Yeah, I think we are both making the product. Like we both make the music releases together, but your role starts more on the front and mine ends the project. I help
bring it over the finish line.
Exactly. And that's the main difference between the two of us, but we are both
working closely with our creative team internally too. So
exactly.
We don't do it all, but yeah.
100%. Yeah. Speaking of some of those creators, I'm going to bring in because I'm going to bring in Jordan, who worked a lot on records this year.
Wizard, I think I called you in an Instagram post.
I'm going to bring Nolan in. And I'm going to bring Josh in here because he's going to segue us too. Now, Josh sent me this image of some of the record releases. And I stress some of the record releases because this is only the selection of records that we internally developed start to finish. Correct, guys?
Yeah. And you know, the records works a little different than like toys or posters where like we'll release something again, either in a different variant or the same variant, you know, so there's a lot of our calendar throughout the year will include a lot of restocks and things that like have been out of print and stuff like that. But this is like most of the new releases this year. I feel like maybe there are something that we're missing, but it's a good chunk of it.
It's an awesome selection, you know, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a bit. But yeah, it's an incredible collection of stuff. And then coming down here, Josh, you sent me this image. Now, this is one of two images here. Hold on, let me get this.
Yeah, this first image is just the repros, the comic repros, the Peanuts repros, the splash page repros, where John will take a cover for a comic that we love or Justin loves or Peter loves and just bring it out and like do it its justice at, you know, full 24 by 30 inch 36 inch poster size.
Yeah, and so when you say repros, for those who don't know, repros is our internal, you know, terminology, like short for reproduction. So this is when we take high resolution scans of original works from comic arts, covers, pages, right? And we, you know, curate what we think would be awesome in our studios or in our collections. And we work with Marvel and DC and the Schultz family, right? The Peanuts company, and make some great reproductions of work that you might have only enjoyed, you know, on the cover of a comic, right? Or like 9x12. So getting those at 24 by 36 sometimes, and with all the great
premium
foil
papers and foils and variants of the pen of the original inks on blue line paper. There's a lot of work that goes into these.
I broke it, Hector.
Hitting print on a previously done piece of art.
A little too close right now.
God damn, it's extremely close.
In person, I swear.
Close up.
I know, dude. All right, so this is just the repros, but then you come down here, and now this is an entire other collection of images. So these are just what, Josh?
These are all the original pieces, all the original screen printed posters we did in 2024. With I think I got the variants for most of them. Godzilla -1 and Ballante and RoboCop and the 3 Turtles posters we did. It's just, and then try to keep them somewhat relative to the scale and sizes they are. So if you look to the right there, those are the 18 by 24s or unique sized posters. Somewhat chronological, somewhat just how many I could fit on the page in the right way. But
yeah,
it's insane. There's a little story about all of them. So
that's it, right? Like looking at when I look at this with you, or we're looking at this just right before the stream, it's crazy because I do have a visceral memory of where we were, what we were working on, what we were doing, what were sometimes like the cool stories that went behind it, sometimes the headaches that went behind some of them, but they're all worth it to bring all these awesome pieces. And you know, Mondo started as a screen printing company, you know, a company that created alternative movie posters for classic films and releases. And so it's awesome to go and take a step back every year and go, man, it's awesome to see that continue with a bunch of first time artists in the Mondo fray here. I can see, just scanning this, I can see a ton of first timers, right? Working with Mondo. So that's really cool. Awesome. All right. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to punt some more people. Bye, Josh. That was enough. Chelsea, I'll see you in a few. Where did Cam go? You're not getting away that easily. Boom. Jordan, we have to talk in a minute. All right. And then Nolan, look at him. He's just hung out. Bye, dude. All right. So, dude, now what we have to do, this is a whole thing. We're going to go through this, basically what we're calling our Mondo 2024 Unboxed.
Right.
And shout out to Nolan and his team for coming up with that cool title. So 2024 Unboxed. And what we're going to do basically is go through each of our like top 3 releases of the year. And this is an impossible task, right?
So hard.
Picking 3 of all what we just showed you, right?
Very difficult to pick 3 of these for sure.
Yeah. So I think everybody has different reasons for why they picked the ones they picked. But I want to have everybody kind of talk a little bit about it and how they connected. So I got yours up here, and you sent me Venom 1/6. You sent me Jesse Hernandez's Urban Aztec Ghidorah, or Ghidorah. I can't tell which one David Dopko wants me to use, but he always Ghidorah at the end.
Not Ghidorah.
Ghidorah. Exactly. And then obviously the Scaremare and Scareglow 1/6 bundle that we released this year, right? Which I think is a great pick on your part because you got to do 4. So good for you.
Hey man, it was technically a bundle.
I'm kidding. So what was it about Venom, for example, that made the list for you?
So this Venom, other than I have a couple of favorite Venoms, but this is one of my favorite iterations of Venom ever. I think his appearance in that show is the best Venom appearance in like any media. His design is awesome. The blue and red lighting that they decided to put on him at all times was such an interesting creative choice that like makes it distinct, very distinctly Spider-Man the animated series. And I think Mr. Alex Brewer here on our team does such a fantastic job of
bring him in, dude. If you name him, we bring him in.
Yeah, he did such a great job. He did such a great job of just nailing those like classic Venom proportions. You know, like he just feels like a classic Venom proportion. Oh yeah, he'll be coming soon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's huge too. He's a real big guy.
Yeah,
I stood him next to Omega Red at Comic-Con, and he towers over him.
Yeah,
that's right, dude.
So when we got Spider-Man the animated series, this was the one that made me the most excited, and it was one that I've been waiting to do, and for us to do for a very long time. And it was a no-brainer that the minute we released Spider-Man, Venom had to be right next, you know. So and Venom, so one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. So being able to work on any iteration that's articulated, that's big, and especially one that's like at this scale never been brought to life like this is the first time there's been a Spider-Man the animated series 1/6 scale Venom. I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And then moving on, with Jesse's pieces, I'm always blown away by his design aesthetic. King Ghidorah was such a monumental task in terms of upping the ante from his Urban Aztec Godzilla of last year to then this, which was just, the same amount of detail, but times 100, right? And I have fond memories of this one too, because we were down to the wire painting this sucker. I have a good memory of you and I being in our hotel room while other people in New York City, of all places, while our wives and stuff are hanging out and having a good time, and we were in the bedroom, in the hotel room, painting little heads and painting little spikes and stuff. So it's a special.
Look at Alex's reaction to your story, dude.
Yeah, we're dorks. It was like, dude, we want this, and it's just a great memory. And then the memory of like the hardships to get that to that show, because then the next morning when I was getting ready to pack it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna clean one little bit, and then I spilled paint on it, and then I was like, so I couldn't show it.
New York Comic Con.
At New York Comic Con. So then I had to paint again, that day, and we finally got it there. We made it, and I don't know. Besides that story, it's just a beautiful piece. I think it turned out great. The sculpt's amazing. The design by Jesse's amazing.
He's our bedroom baby, dude.
Yeah. Bedroom.
Right, Alex?
Finally, it's just so I can move on here. Scaremare, Scareglow, I think, Scaremare is very special. It's a character that we got to create here with the help of Florian. Something that Bob and I here, Mr. Bob Fulkerson and I, chatted about years ago, and somehow we made it happen. And we worked with the amazing Florian to get this design out and also make it canon. It comes with a mini comic. It comes with a poster. Like it was such an achievement for us, and I feel very proud that Mattel entrusted us to be able to create a new character, especially because we wanted to bring out a new Scareglow. And this is personally my favorite Scareglow that we've ever done, and my favorite villain that we've interpreted in the Motu line. I think that we've really crushed it with the design. And just overall, they just look, they're awesome. And it was an awesome moment for Mondo.
Yeah, totally agree. I think it's a great choice to include in your list, because it is a first, to be able to create from scratch through toys, right? Through figures, you're adding canon. So yeah, rad. I will move on because we have so many to get to. Let me see if I don't break my computer. Come on, bro, you got this. Hey, there we go. So I picked these three. The vessel, the nightmare vessels. I wanted to put both of them just to talk about them as a line, but you know what I'm talking about. So we launched with Halloween 2, Michael Myers, and we also have American Werewolf in London. I can tell you guys already that we're working on 2 more at the moment currently that are so great. One of them, I can't believe it's real. I don't even want to think about it until it's real because I don't want to jinx it. It's so good. Yeah, the idea that Hector and I, you remember we talked about what can we do in our figure, business that brings play back to figures, right? Like high-end collectibles usually don't have that sense of play to them, and understandably so. They're premium. They're very valuable and fragile. Sometimes you don't want to be messing with it too much, but we wanted to try to figure out what that could be. And we came up with this idea of what happens if you get something from, the Halloween decorations collection, some of our favorite soft vinyl style and figures, really like a peanut butter and chocolate moment, right? I think about that one scene in Family Guy where I don't know what happens where the chocolate and the peanut butter crash into each other. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's some weird thing. But the point is, it was this weird thing where we said, can we do this? And who was going to let us, work with their property on a brand new category? And the folks at Universal were so cool that they allowed us to use Michael Myers, and we had the American Werewolf in London set. It's just such a crazy thing. It doesn't exist anywhere else. And when you're done opening it and rummaging through it and finding all the accessories, setting them up, you got that awesome display of the vessel itself and the figure next to it. To me, it's just a fun thing, and it's a new inflection point in collectibles in general, and you guys seem to love it, so we're stoked about that. I had to include the All Monsters Attack set, the Godzilla All Monsters Attack set, because it was the first time I got to work on a Godzilla figure that wasn't like an Attack Peter design. And so I always, I feel like I sound greedy saying it, but it's not enough that I should be able to design something that looks like my drawing style. I wanted to go through the experience of just doing a great figure set regardless of the artist style, right? And Hector, this has been your line for a long time that you've been working on the Godzilla Sofubi, starting back with the 84 and Jet Jaguar and Hedorah.
Yeah.
And so getting a chance to work on it with you was a blast. Sending drawings back and forth, sending pictures back and forth. It was super fun. And then, of course, being able to watch it come to life with sculpt and paint by you guys it was just an awesome, and Tufan, of course, did a great sculpt. So I included that one because it's special to see. I wanted to be a little bit more anonymous in the process, if that makes sense, stylistically. So, and see what would happen. And so exciting.
Yeah,
and then of course,
the first one where we worked together, right? In this, sense, right, where we were really designing a soft vinyl that was meant to go as a part of our main Godzilla soft vinyl line. Yeah,
super rad, and it was awesome. I like it when the crazy idea comes from you, which was let's put all 3 characters in a box together. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And so that it's just so awesome to see it come together. And of course, Tom Whalen's great box art is just a pleasure to see rounded out.
And this is the tropical set, which was painted by Hillary, right? And
yes,
she's been doing an amazing job with a lot
shout
of
out
vinyl.
Yeah, shout out Hillary Arce, who I saw in the chat. Like literally, we gotta have her on the stream sometime because her painting is getting to the point where people are just asking. People will DM me and say, "Is Hillary gonna paint some variants of this or that kind of thing?" So people are already looking for her as to have a signature touch on the paint apps, which is just rad. Speaking of Hillary painting, Hillary's been assigned the daunting task of painting my figures, my designs, and so the creature came out this year. Another great feeling in the sense that I'm always wondering if anybody cares about my designs outside.
Yeah, look,
man, a great taste. Yeah, if anybody would care about my design outside of Godzilla. So when we launched Creature, I remember telling you, I don't know if anybody's gonna buy this, dude. I don't know if anybody's gonna care about. And you're like, dude, yeah, just it's going to be cool. And so we worked on it really hard. Took a long time to settle on the design. And then, of course, having Hillary do 3 great paint apps on it just really was a special thing to see. I never can believe it when I get to reflect on the fact that I get to work on figures for a living. And so seeing these 3 that reflect different parts of that process for me was very, very special. So, thank you guys for letting me do it. All right, so let's move on.
Who's next?
There we go. All right, let's bring in Nolan Brewer. I don't know why we brought you in, but thanks. And then bringing Nolan in. Nolan, we got some great picks from you here. And Nolan, if you guys don't know, Nolan's really like heading up our design, like our graphic design, the visual look that is Mondo is Nolan's. And Nolan's also been working really hard, creating these incredible booths and merch for us this year. The shirts, Nolan dropped 2 shirts, I think 6 pins or something like that this year. And people have been super stoked picking them up at the cons. But you also get a chance to work on records. Is that correct? Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Rookie mistake.
Good.
But yeah, no, I've had a really lucky year that I've gotten to work on, kind of across the whole company in a lot of different capacity, been able to work on, title treatment for posters. And then I've really dug into the music team this past year. And actually my first project that was kind of from scratch was the Scavenger's Reign record, which I was incredibly excited for because I was already a massive fan. From the day it came out, I started watching it. It was instantly hooked me. I've never seen like a show that had such a well-realized sci-fi world before. And every single thing about it was just incredible. And then as soon as I started working with the records team, Cam came to me and was like, yo, we have this Scavenger's Reign record. I'm really stoked on it. I hope you're into it. And I was like, no way, I get to work on this. And so, I definitely wanted to take it and run with it as much as we possibly could. We were, obviously, somewhat limited to, key art from the show. But, when the art is this incredible, you don't really need original art, because the creators and the artists that worked on the show are so absolutely amazing. Joseph Bennett and Charles Huebner were the creators of the show, and then Nicholas Snyder was the composer, and all of them were so incredible to work with. Like, they were like the best. Like, this is the best possible first experience for me working on a record project.
This is one of those ones where like a rare project where like you don't get many notes from the studio or anyone involved in the show or movie or anything like that. It's like we showed them this and they're like, this looks great, awesome. And like, I think a lot of that is because like the images from the show are just so stunning already. And like you're saying, we didn't even want to do original art for, like, why do original art when the pool of assets we were given were like, it was hard to choose which ones we were going to highlight in the packaging. And like, luckily enough, we were able to put a big poster in it too. It's just like, it's all kind of like a love letter to like the show itself and like the level of artistry that went into creating that. We just wanted to like make a physical product that people could hold and like look at it up close and be like, this is awesome. And obviously the music is really incredible too. Not for nothing,
I have a copy right here, and like, as soon as I started working on it, I knew I wanted it to be like this layered like world, because the world is so deep and so complex that I wanted that to come through in the packaging. So immediately I knew I wanted to be layered. And so we tried to do, as much as we possibly could. So immediately we did this, acetate O card here that comes off, and this has all your, text and your track list and all that, and your cover or your title. And so that leaves the art to be able to sing on its own when you have, that O card off.
No text, no barcode.
I tell people who I talk to about records, like, if you buy one record from Mondo this year, like, this might be the one that you want to get, just because it's so interesting to pull apart, right? I mean, I could say that about a few other ones that we have coming up, but it's an awesome piece.
Yeah, and then within it, you can see that there's a die cut, so you can see the world within the world there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead, Cam. You were saying?
I was gonna say it's sold out on our site now, but we are restocking it.
Nice.
Next year, so
Amazing.
So like if you're looking for it, don't pay like scalper prices or anything like that. We're gonna keep it in print as long as we can. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Sweet. And then Nolan, something else that was a great pick for you. You designed the coolest Mondo booth I've seen maybe ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was absolutely huge for me. This was like our first opportunity to kind of go wild with the booth and kind of do whatever we wanted with it. And we kind of jumped into it a little bit during SDCC, and we explored this arcade theme. And so we kind of, we had a lot of success with that, and we wanted to kind of continue that vibe to a certain extent, but make it a little bit, more spooky, haunted for NYCC, and we ended up carrying over a lot of those elements over to DCon. So it was kind of a bit of an evolution throughout the process. So we ended up with this, funhouse midway vibe with these really awesome bistro lights. That was a suggestion from Hector that I think hold it all together, in my opinion. Like,
got the bistro, man.
You gotta go to Hector's Bistro, bro.
Yeah, man. You get that very chill, little patio vibe.
It really did have a good atmospheric feel in a giant convention center. So shout out to you guys for nailing that. I love this design so much, dude, that I would buy a little tiny like maquette version of it just to have on my shelf. That's how much I really like it.
Can we do that? Can we
we should put a little booth.
Imagine a record vinyl that opens up into our booth. We just need to record original music, Cam. So get on that.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never been able to walk into my art before, so that's really rad.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that was awesome. And then we got, hold on, after that, come on, bro. Oh, yeah. So what's better than having an awesome booth like that is being able to leave the booth with some of the art on a shirt, right? And so people have been asking for a long time, when is Mondo apparel, Mondo tees coming back? And so we brought it back this year, right? We dropped 3 different shirts, yeah?
Yeah. My design and then one of your design for at DCon.
Yes, and you've been overseeing the whole rollout of our apparel line and our pins line.
Yep. Yeah. So I've been overseeing and designing and getting everything produced, and working with Grace to get everything approved and produced and to the shows and ready to go. And it's been really exciting to bring it back. It was definitely something that I always loved before I even worked here, and so it's awesome to be a part of that now. I've always wanted to make a shirt that would be sold by Mondo, and it's exciting to finally have that kind of dream come together.
It looks awesome, man. It's my favorite shirt to wear now, and I just can't wait for the next one. So if you guys, this one I think sold out, but if you guys want to pick up one of Nolan's shirts, you still can at mondoshop.com. The Comic-Con shirt that we designed, the arcade shirt. Do you have one right there? Hold on.
We got some of these on the site right now. So
heck yeah.
Grab them while you can. So.
Nice. Oh yeah, it's the one Hector's wearing too. Perfect. Yeah. Awesome, dude. All right, punting. Who am I punting now? Just for temporarily punting Nolan. I think I'm going to bring Cam back in a second real quick. Let me get this presentation back. And by the way, Hillary, I know you're in the same house as Hector. If you want to come on, you're more than welcome to. I see them scheming in the comments, her and Irving. Just come on come upstairs. Let me see. All right, here we go. Josh, where's Josh Manderville? Bring him on. Josh, these are some of my favorite prints too of the year. And that was hard to pick.
It's very hard to pick, but there's the criteria I had assessed really quick when I was looking at it. Was one is just one thing we always talked about, which is artist fit, and it was a unique but also perfect fit, and that was the case with every one of these artists. Not that the other posters didn't, but these ones are standout for me. Lance Inkwell doing Killer Clowns with his Cuphead style,
so good.
Was such a I don't know. It just all came together perfectly at Monsterpalooza, and people went crazy for it. We had some to put online afterwards that went crazy for that too, and I'm just so happy with how it turned out. Plus, both Bloodsport and Killer Clowns being cult films for the most part, or at least a little bit deeper cuts than kind of the bigger things you would see advertised. I think that they went perfect for a Mondo release.
Yeah, we've had this discussion. Bloodsport is a masterpiece. We all know.
Yeah, Gian Galang, man, that guy, not only does he get us delicious cookies for Christmas every year, shout out to Gian and his wife, but I love that man's Bloodsport poster so much. Like it's everything I wanted as a 10-year-old when that thing came out.
I say this with full awareness of how many amazing prints Mondo has released, but I really do believe Gian's Bloodsport is up there at the top. And I'm so happy that we were able to introduce folks to Gian, to Lance's work, although they might be familiar with his work from Cuphead. But I'm just happy to bring in new voices, right? And we have another first-time artist with Sleeping Beauty, right?
Yeah, Ava Escalinen. She had such a love for Ivan Earl's art, who's the main artist on so many classic Disney movies, but especially Sleeping Beauty be such like a masterpiece, and her style fitting that so perfectly, and us kind of collaborating as a team to kind of bring this poster with so many story elements and these little vignettes and the archways above the dragon. This was a highlight this year, and we brought it to D23.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece.
Hanging on my wall. It's like,
same.
It really like captures that very like Disneyland nostalgia, kind of like, you walk in under Main Street, under the railroad, and you have all those classic Disney posters. Like this would fit right in with all of those.
Yeah, these are great pieces.
Sword in the Stone next, probably. I gotta.
That's a great one.
Like
they're really awesome pieces. The work Josh, you and John have been doing with the artists in the posters and the prints. I really hate calling them posters, frankly, because they're just so much more than that. They're beautiful screen prints on incredible paper. The effects that John is able to get, like you were talking about earlier, with beautiful foil prints and reflective aspects and just incredible color variants, or pouring over the original art and breaking it down to be able to preserve the ink strokes of an original piece of comic art. It's really something special that, unfortunately, because he does it so well, is not something that you detect, right? And so that's just
not on screen for sure. And I think
right.
that's anytime we can show it as people see these in person, get it that they're handmade and something this tight. Usually don't think of handmade artisan work, but it's beautiful.
And I know we have so many collectors now who kind of discovered us through figures, and they're starting to get their first Mondo screen prints. If you haven't gotten a Mondo print yet, you really should try and pick one up. There's a ton of good ones on the site still available. And as someone who has a collection room too, it's just really nice to complement some of your 3D stuff with some great wall art. So yeah, rad stuff here. And then I'm going to bring Cam and Chelsea back in, and Jordan, because I know y'all were very involved. Where did Jordan go? There he is. Dudes.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
So we got great to be back. So there's some great pieces in this assortment here that Josh sent over, starting with Coraline. I just got mine in the mail today. Is that okay to say that? They're
they're showing up. They're out. Yeah, I've got a couple copies.
Dude. Talk a little bit about Coraline. Jordan, I really want to hear from you on this too. Like, I feel like this project came across our radar, and we were very, very confident that we could deliver something awesome because we had you on staff who's able to create. To really create. If you guys aren't familiar yet, you're going to see some of Jordan's picks later highlighting the packaging. But we have such a badass team from start to finish, really. And sometimes it's a studio will see what we can do with packaging, and especially when it comes to the vinyl packaging, that it blows them away and it makes them feel like, Cam, Chelsea, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're just like, oh my God, yes, you guys do the next thing, right?
No, totally. And I also want to say, like, we've already done a version of Coraline too, so it was like, came to us for the 15th anniversary, and like, we want to do a new version, and it's like, holy shit, I thought we already did this perfect, or the previous team that did that version, like, oh my God, like, how do we do it better? Like, that one's so perfect already. Like, I don't know, like, I was like, I couldn't imagine doing a better version, but I knew that, like, working with this killer team, we'd come up with something, and we did, and it's like, there's so much to tell about this record that I don't think we're gonna get to even half of it here, but like,
exactly,
yeah,
there's a whole
literally every single department, like toys.
It's one of those projects.
What's that?
It's one of those projects where a lot of people weigh in. Yeah, but Jordan, talk about
get their hands on it. A lot of people touched it, and like it shows because it's so great, and we have a great team. So Jordan, I don't know if you want to say something about it.
Yeah, well, Jordan, what I curious about is how do you pitch something like this in terms of like what you can deliver, especially when there's like a time crunch, and just talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, initially when we first started talking about this, and it was
This is a pop-up, by the way. I don't think we mentioned if you don't have it in person, this thing opens really well. You have it there, Cam?
Yeah, I'm digging for it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is
Jordan,
in fact the third iteration of a pop-up design that I created for this. Because I was working hand in hand with the factory too. So that's like a 3-layer, more like a 3D pop-up. Does that make sense? Like they're kind of already 3D. Yeah,
multi-layers in there. Yeah,
that was great.
But yeah, really, you know, the thing that I love and find so endearing about Coraline is that it feels handmade. It feels interactive, even when you're watching it, right? Because the stop motion and the maquettes and the, you know, so I wanted to find a way to bring that to this seemingly static medium to, like, you know, bring you into this world of, you know, the Pink Palace apartments. And, you know, we had all these other concepts here and there, but like really had to, as the timeline went longer, the deadlines got shorter, and so we just really kind of had to just, this is what we're doing. I'm working directly with the factory. The artist that I was working with is one that I've worked with before at other positions, and so we had this great rapport. He lives in town, Dylan Eldane, and yeah, just killed it, you know.
Yeah.
And I just,
it's an awesome piece. Yeah, it's an awesome piece. And Chelsea, like, one of my favorite things when I see this record is the buttons as the vinyl. I feel like that's one of the things that we do really well, is kind of like think through the entire packaging, right? Like, it's not just the package, the actual vinyl itself.
Yeah, I think when you have something that, like Cam was saying, this has already been done, it's perfect. Like, how do we do something that's you know, equally as appreciated, or like really honors the title? You know, Cam and Jordan just really crushed it, but like taking all things into account. And I know that like the Pink Palace was brought up early on in conversation, and I remember like seeing some of your very first iterations of like you made like little miniature pop-up design.
They were going to be a little doll.
We had another year to make this that would have been even crazier. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and just so intricate, and there's just a lot of thought that goes into it, and I absolutely love. I mean, credit goes to Cam and Jordan mostly for this, because they really put their like blood, sweat, and tears into it. But I love it so much. And Peter, you got yours before I got mine, so I'm jealous.
Hey, that's a rare thing. I'm usually the ultimate. Like, the UPS guy gets his before I do normally. And so yeah, I'm really stoked on that. And my record collection is really coming along now, because I just love that each one of these pieces has something about it that I'm like, I remember when this was in question, or I remember when we almost didn't get to feature this, that, and the other. And so, speaking of which, we got some other rad record releases I want to get to, and this one was massive, right, Chelsea? I feel like you and Jordan really, in fact, I'm gonna go ahead, talk about this, because this was crazy.
Yeah, we talk about love letters, you know, to IPs, and I know, like, you know, records sometimes we'll do a nostalgic title, and sometimes we have the honor of like working on something that hasn't released yet. But with this one, I got the real honor of like working on a show I currently loved and was like in the process of watching, which is just it feels, you know, like very serendipitous, of course, but you know, this was brought to us summer 23 as an option to work on, and I immediately jumped at the chance, because I was like, I love this show. It's an Apple TV Plus show called For All Mankind. It's like this sci-fi, maybe even more drama. Like alternate history show that kind of starts off with the space race in 1959, and you know, at the time they were about to release season 4, and so we were about to watch that. So not all the music was out yet, but it was like, we want to do something for this, and we want to create a really nice collection for the seasons that the music had been released for already, which were seasons 1 through 3. And we came up with this idea to do a volume 1. And so that insinuates, hopefully, to do more than this as it goes along. And they're filming season 5 right now. But Jordan, you have a copy of it, right? But Jordan worked on the product design for this. We brought on Danny Haas to do artwork for the jackets. And
and Danny, who's been doing a lot of our doing some great prints for us, right? He did our Back to the Future 2. He's done our Batman the Animated Series box art.
Animated Series boxes.
And it's just so cool, right? To be able to see him flexing records as well.
It's so cool. He really just crushed the retro vibe that we were trying to bring to this. And as you'll see, as Jordan's like showing it, we have these die cut like windows on the helmet with like an
just give that extra
like a reflection of the planet from each season that is kind of the focus. So I
love that the suits and the ships match the season as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great piece. Go ahead.
Honestly, like Danny too we didn't have that many edits. Like he really just
he was also a fan of the show. That was the thing. Went to echo Nolan. It's like, wait, what? Really? We get the chip. I love this show. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd also want to give you guys a chance to weigh in on For All Mankind as well, because I know Nolan and Cam talked a little bit about it. But Chelsea, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to chip in on this project.
Oh, on Scavenger's Reign.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. Well, again, with kind of division of labor, I suppose.
Sure.
I didn't have a lot to do with this one. I love it so much, and it's beautiful. And
it's just rad, right? Like when you get to, it's like what you were saying with For All Mankind. It's one of those releases. I think For All Mankind might be the ultimate version of this, where you just pour over that packaging. You pull things out. I mean, Jordan showed you 1/10 of what's in there. There's so much in there that it like really reinforces the great side of physical media, right? Putting the record on, being in the moment, right? And so I just think it's great that these releases have that.
Yeah. One really quick thing too is that we had the honor to have this in time to have it in hand at Comic-Con this year, and the show's creator Ronald D. Moore was at Comic-Con. We were able to arrange a signing with him there, and he saw it like in person, real time, for the first time in front of us at our booth. He signed some copies for us, which was awesome.
I can take out one back.
That copy's mine.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, I have your copy.
Super rad work, you guys. It's just awesome, to highlight this stuff, because I know so many folks, if you're like me, you're like, you don't just collect figures, you collect art, you collect music, and it's that whole experience that
you guys
ties
got me
all
into collecting toys, so
let the vinyl flow through
I
you.
was vinyl only for so long, and now you guys are filling
You're
my
still
house.
vinyl. It's just in 3D, bro.
You know, what's funny is that Mondo got me into collecting vinyl and records.
It's funny.
Now it expanded me into buying a bunch of records from my favorite artists and stuff like that I probably would have never gotten if it weren't for Mondo.
It's the same, and now I'm like following other toy page. I'm like getting into it, like on a bigger level, and I'm like,
the gateway.
Yeah, what did you guys do to me? Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna bring in. Thank you guys so much. This is awesome to be able to talk to you guys about it. It's really just my goal and Hector's goal. This show is to really just show how many awesome people. And this is still just a fraction of the Mondo team, but just those who are working really, really closely on the creative projects to speak to you guys about. All right, I'm gonna bump Cam. Gonna bump Josh for now, Chelsea, and I'm gonna bump Jordan just for a second. Boom, and we're gonna bring in back in. Wait, where did you go? Tommy, there he is. Boom, Tommy. So I got your picks right here, man, and 3 great choices. We talked a lot about Buzz Off, and I think people realize what a masterpiece that is. But not to be overlooked is the awesome work you did with Tila and Juggernaut. So let's start a little bit with Tila and talk about why that one was very special for you to highlight here at the end of the year.
Long story short, she's beautiful, she's strong, she lives in the Motu world, and I was lucky enough to work on She-Ra. So it was cool to do it was great to do like a more muscular, fit woman, I guess you can say.
Yeah. She definitely spends a little bit more time in the gym.
Yeah, and she doesn't have magical powers, so all her strength are earned. She earned it all.
It's such an awesome piece, man. It's one of the ones I have right near me on my desk. I have He-Man, Skeletor, and Tila, because that Tila, especially with the snake headdress on, it just takes me all the way back to my childhood. So rad. And then Juggernaut. Yeah, right. And then Juggernaut to me is another like stealth attack that we did this year, which is like no one really was looking for this or saw it coming. And we internally, I think we didn't even have it really planned per se. We just were talking, you know, in one of our Friday chats, and we're like, man, we have the opportunity to do Marvel and soft vinyl. People love Man-Thing. People love Werewolf by Night. But what can we do that's like a little bit away from that? And I think, Tommy, you chimed in like Juggernaut, right?
Mhm.
And it was just, I remember from 1 week to the next, you had the project like halfway done.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's what? How do I even explain that guy? He's wider than he is tall,
Yes.
and
He is.
every interpretation I see of him, he's always a little too thin of how I picture him. So
He's
if
absolute
you look at
unit,
him,
bro.
looks like he can barely move except punch.
Yeah, I love seeing people getting Juggernaut in hand, and I think again, like our images, even though we have someone holding the pieces, right, it doesn't do it justice. And when people start getting Juggernaut, to be like, oh man, this is a lot bigger than I remember. Like when we printed this out for the first time and getting it, because I think I paint, if I remember correctly, I painted this version here you have on the screen, and I remember seeing this and be like, oh man, this is stupid big. Like this is so stupid big, but let's do it. And it's like Tommy, like he crushed it with the concept. He just went straight into sculpt.
That's a big thing to highlight.
Yeah, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see it, and it's one of my favorite things we've done.
Yeah, that's a great point, Hector, that you bring up, is that normally, like you guys saw, we have concept art and we figure out a lot of the design elements in that concept art phase because it's easier to do retouches and revisions. But Tommy just went right into sculpt with Juggernaut. And that's why I say, like, these guys are real artists, man, because they have the vision in their head, they pull the references, they tie things together, and you just get this brand new image here that's just, I see people struggling to get all 4 of them on their shelves, but they want to make it work so bad.
The best pick I saw was someone had all 4 and their fists were all doing this. They're all, and it was almost like what is it, Captain Planet?
Yes,
like
all the rings going together.
Yeah, it was just awesome.
It's an awesome piece, Tommy. And dude, someone else mentioned the year, like you've been crushing it, dude. Like I don't even say that surprised anymore. It's just like, it's so awesome to have this range. And by the way, to know what you're working on for next year that people are going to lose their minds off is amazing. Right?
If you thought that our 2024 image of things was cool, no, next year.
Yeah. There's a lot coming. And dude, you just continue to crush it. So thank you for doing that.
Of course, Buzz Off, Tommy. We spent some time on already, but you crushed it.
That's the way to end of the year, right?
I appreciate it. I looked at our notes, and Juggernaut was the first figure of 2024. And I thought
it was.
Hector.
Right.
I mean, Peter said find something that came out this year or was showcased this year, and he was the first thing. So
he was the first release of the year. It was him, and then Orko, right?
Yes.
Not far behind.
Yeah, it's an awesome piece. And again, I think it continues to like send soft vinyl as a form out to different collectors who may not be collecting it, you know, and seeing how much detail you can get in the paint and the sculpt. It's just an amazing presence. I think it's going to be the centerpiece of a lot of people's collections. I want to bring in the man, Alex Brewer here, sir. Tell us a little bit about your year. I think you did a couple of things.
Yeah,
just good stuff
here and there. Well, I mean, I had to put an X-Man on there. Seeing some anxious rumblings in the chat about the status of the X-Men line, all I'll say is, don't worry, no need to worry. But so
there are some surprises next year for X-Men that I don't think people would even imagine that we would have done.
Yeah, no one's ready for next year.
Yeah, there's a good amount of X-Men next year.
I screenshot all the panic comments.
Yeah. If I can think off the top of 5, I could say it. 5, maybe. Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Around there.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, no one's ready. But we got Cyclops, who I love. He was my favorite X-Man as a kid. And just like getting him in hand, like seeing the team come together, like the X-Men is they're like a family, right? So it's like getting all those he's the leader, getting those pieces in place. You start to see the whole like picture taking shape, and it's just like, as a fan, like it's amazing to see. And I just the figure's so fun. Like I love the way what we're able to do with all of his optic blasts, and kind of how well all the visors swap out, and like he's got his jacket, and like the factory did such a great job. Like it's all the pieces are so fun to swap and play around with. So I really liked the way he came out. I also had to throw the Ninja Turtles on there. Because
huge piece.
That was my first like that was like what started my love of action figures, right? Is like Ninja Turtles. So to like the honor of getting to add to that legacy in any capacity is just like I'm beyond lucky, right? But yeah, they came out so cool. Getting to like hold it in hand at New York Comic Con, like they're just like the perfect size. And I also just like seeing them all together and in people's collections and stuff. Like they're such like rascals. Like there's like a lot of turtle stuff out there, right? But like something about these guys, like they're like little troublemakers. Like
they have a lot of character, right? Like, and that was the goal when we were talking about this from the beginning, right? It's like, and I Turtles overall is definitely in my top for the year. Just being able to put out Ninja Turtles anything is so special. And yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Rascals, they do have that. I think all of them have that kind of like that troublemaker kind of vibe,
like the Gremlins before they evolve.
The little Mogwai. They're like,
I love that. Joseph Rinaldi put a great comment. He goes, I honestly didn't have much interest in the vinyl TMNT, but when I saw the black and white set at Comic-Con, New York Comic Con, it was an instant purchase. So I think that's a great comment, because a lot of these, as great as our photographers are and do an amazing job capturing all the detail, texture, and all that, it's just until you see them in person sometimes where everything clicks. And so really grateful for those of you who take like a big risk. If you're not sure about something and pick it up, and then you're so stoked when you get it in hand, hopefully over time you'll know that you can count on us for that kind of stuff. So yeah, Alex, dude, it's insane to go from Cyclops 1/6, a beautiful piece that literally ripped from my 10-year-old brain, with the jacket, with the optic blast that tracks across the horizon is my favorite piece. And then going to Turtles in soft vinyl that feels so definitive. It feels like a great core set. Like you could potentially only collect the Turtles vinyl figure set, and you're gonna have an amazing collection when we're all said and done. And then of course, dude, this may be the year of the Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters. And I think we've talked about your story here 100 times with, you go in rogue, designing for fun, putting them online, and then literally instead of like turning a barge, the barge just turns to you and say, oh, what are we doing? And that's literally what happened with those early sculpt concepts you put out. We're now on the precipice of these guys being finished at the factory soon, and people will be getting them, in the near future. And it's just crazy. But now that we're here, we've talked about it a lot. How does it feel to be at this point? You can almost breathe a sigh of like, I'm done with this first set.
I can't wait for people to get them in hand, because it's like as these are taking form, it's like there's just a quality to them that like I'm really excited for people to like actually see themselves, and it's gonna be, I think, something really cool and new. And yeah, just like I pinch myself, like it's amazing that that this is a reality, and I'm so thankful for everyone coming together on this one and making it happen, and going the extra mile to like make a cool toy line that everyone wants and has been asking for a long time. So
100%. And shout out to our licensing team. We say it all the time, but they really did an incredible job making this happen.
Tori.
So Tori, Jason Bischoff, you guys are really the best. All right, so let's bring in, I believe this is Alex Alva, sir. Dude, welcome to the stream. I think is this your first time on our show?
First time.
Nice. So Alex has been working really hard on our project management, right? And production, making sure a lot of these figures that you get make their way cleanly through the factory process, making sure things are up to snuff and getting produced on time. But you had 3 great picks here. Why did you highlight these 3 specifically? You can start with Lionel.
Well, just to preemptively talk about that, I have a job of taking all of the art and all of the 3D and all of the amazing like ideas that Hector has for the lines and making sure that they are spot on for what every portion of the artist want, right? So Lionel was probably honestly on from a factory perspective like the easiest so far to date. I know it's hard to say, it's really hard to say that, but it was really easy through the factory process to get exactly what we concepted out through sculpt, through design, and then now they're hitting customers' shelves right now, and so they look exactly the way that we originally concepted that, and so that's kind of where I like to live with most of this stuff. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point because a lot of it's great to be able to produce this stuff in the way where we're making beautiful looking prototypes, beautiful looking whatever it is, a poster, a print, a record, a collectible, right? But producing it and having it run through the manufacturing process is an art form in and of itself, and it's so difficult. It is very, very difficult to, especially with these more like highly detailed collectibles, right? Where we're really pushing the deco, we're pushing what the swappable elements are and all of that kind of stuff. Like it's a tough job for sure, and it shouldn't be understated that like when we get it right, it is the best feeling, right? When it arrives to customers and then people love it, it's like we finally did our job.
Yeah, 100%.
Our team from May to Alex, Tommy, and you and Hector, all the team, they make it easy. I feel like, and I know exactly what we're supposed to be doing with functionality and all that stuff. And so from that perspective, I think that's why Lionel was one of my favorites, because even the paint is just beautiful.
That's awesome.
In the back, huge Spider-Man guy. Everyone knows me for that, right? So obviously when this came across my plate, we see this stuff so early on, we have to be quiet, right? And it's like,
that's a tough thing.
Yeah, that's the tough part. And so when this came across, I'm like, I see the first prototype. Hector sees the first prototype from the factory. And so, we scrutinize it, we tear it apart and all these things, but opening that box for the first time and seeing Spider-Man, like that was a great experience on this piece. So that's why I picked that one as well. So
I love that. And then Octeal did this amazing Godzilla UFO piece. And
just like I said earlier, that he's a fan of vinyl now, record vinyl.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of soft vinyl.
What made you a fan? I mean, obviously working on it makes everybody a fan, but is there anything particular that you didn't anticipate loving about it?
The history of just the form factor, right? Like studying that and looking into what we've done in the past, and then there's a nuance to it, and then to find a factory partner that could pull that off and pull it off consistently. Again, you see what the artist has done, and you just want to make it right on when customers get that piece. And so this line here was the first one that I did from start to finish with Hector, right, throughout that process, from sourcing the factory to making sure that all the paint apps were correct. And just, if you guys have held this in person, like, this is like a solid piece, right? And so we have a great factory partner there. And so this has now made me like, what do I do with all the other crap that I have in the background? Because I really want this stuff.
Dude, that's what soft vinyl does. Why do you think my back looks like this?
We're telling people all year long.
Once you get it, and it just takes a hold.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked on replica, I've worked on action figures, I've worked on all kinds of stuff, and this is just different. I can't explain.
It's something about it. It's hard to put into words, but you nailed it. And I think that's a great and dynamic setup. 3 of my favorites too. There are some people who are like, "Oh, this didn't get picked." I didn't even put my Mecha Godzilla in there, which is how hard this was. Like, this was
an amazing release too.
Yeah,
actually, Peter, your actual creature was when I first came on, was the first soft vinyl program that I was a part of.
Yeah,
and I still have the prototype where we were testing the soft vinyl, and to this day the grayscale still leans over because we didn't get it right the first time.
It was
so
a
if
tough
you want, I can send it to you, but it's a great piece to be like, okay, we got to fix this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's an awesome piece, and again, it just speaks to like what we're talking about here. There's so many pieces, hard to pick 3. This was almost impossible to do.
Correct.
But yeah, great stuff. Thanks, Alex. I'm gonna go now, slide down. I think we got Jordan to bring in. So I'm punting you, Brewer. I'm punting you, Tommy, and I'm bringing Jordan.
More, right?
Yeah, we're almost there. And Jordan, so I love that the pieces that you shared really revolve around the packaging because you work so closely in that regard. And the ones that we're going to share are some of the best packaging I've seen as a collector, period. And I'm just happy they're all here at Mondo. So talk about the blister pack, first of all, for the turtles.
The controversial blister pack.
Oh, no.
Well, so again, like, you know, we've talked about this 100 times before, where, you know, the feel of the turtles as you get older, like they kind of grew with you, and I wanted the packaging to grow with the turtles. And, you know, just we have beautiful artwork from Aaron Connolly, and just it needed to complement the figure, like it needed to extend that fantasy, right? So that's why it was so, and like we had talked about this, like it was so important to have it on this card, right? It's just, there was no other option. Well, except now we do have other options. We have had to design a box for larger figures. But yeah, like this, it was no issue. Like it had to be this. I mean, there is no peg for this to go on, but it had to be there.
I know.
Right? Like,
I love that so much, dude. You know, I also, one thing I really love about working with you and watching these things come together is that you also see the humor and some of the silliness of some of the ideas, and you're like, that's even better. Like if it made me laugh or made me chuckle, like push that, because that means someone else is gonna have a good time with it. And It's a perfect transition into this, what we're lovingly internally and unofficially calling our Sofubi to go line.
yeah.
You know, talk about this, because as fun as this is, there is a through line back to traditional Sofubi packaging, right?
100%. And that's exactly what it is. You know, that what part of our jobs is creating these love letters to IPs, to emotion, and to nostalgia, right? Like that's our job. And with this, particularly with soft vinyl, you know, it's that card and bag, but I wanted to bring it up. You know, I wanted to make it feel a little bit more premium. You know, I wanted it to just, you know, I have this one here. I couldn't find a picture of the Octeal UFOs, but, you know, I wanted it to be like carried around, you know. And it's also some collectibles that you can take out of the packaging without damaging the packaging.
Yeah,
This is the most important
No,
thing.
you can open the bottom without
Yes.
tearing the top.
Yeah,
you can
it's like
remove the figure from the bottom.
Yeah, show it. This is the most important thing. If you're watching and you didn't know this, if you got one of our Myers or American Werewolf or the Octeal pieces, like he said, you can open the bottom easily, pull the figure out. If you want to keep put it back in the packaging, no issue, and you can, it's perfect. It's awesome.
You know, and it's something that's like, you know, as packaging, if you, like I said, you know, you are it's kind of a hard thing to describe, right? It's the complete packaging, and people watch these unboxing videos, and there's something to that, right? And I want that experience, maybe because I'm a Mac user, maybe it's because of something, but like I love that complete entire experience. And with toys, it's equally as important, because when you're a kid, Christmas, gifts, anytime you get a packaging, you know, something in a package, you sit and stare at it like a coupon you can clip out, or, you know, like checking off all the figures that you can collect. And, you know, I love that kind of experience with toys.
100%. And these, I remember when I got these in hand, I was like freaked out by how much I loved them in the packaging, because they just stand perfectly, like I do my Sofubi collection anyway. Like they're just there, and that little pop of color in Florian's art at the top, or the Japanese and the Halloween too. It's just so good. It's so like it's so understated, but it just ties the whole thing together.
Yeah, it's a
awesome.
love letter to the original bag and header cards that you still get from many Japanese manufacturers and Sofubi companies that release their stuff. But we just, like Jordan said, it was like, how would it look if it was something a little more elevated? You know, for lack of a better word.
And if you rack them all up together on your shelf, it looks so cool.
100%. And then, not to be outdone again, like,
oh my god,
I think it's just one of the most important ingredients for our nightmare vessels is the packaging, and we spent just as much time, if not more, on the entire process of the packaging, right, dude?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, and that was the thing. Like, you know, I love this line. I love this new program that we're running, and you know, when we were talking about this originally, it was like, oh yeah, like Boglins, like they're just breaking out of this, you know, or like I think about in the warehouse at the end of Indiana Jones, right? Where, like this
I always,
crazy
you know, when we were
nightmare
talking about this, I kept thinking about that. Is it Creep Show that has that creature
Yes.
underneath the stairs in the crate?
Fluffy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what I kept envisioning when we were talking about this. It was like that moment.
Yeah, the nightmares cannot be contained. Like, it's so, and with that, you know, we wanted to have this sort of mascot, which I hope one of these days we make a soft line of love. The Nightmare Keeper.
The Nightmare Keeper, who is illustrated by the great Brett Parson at Blitz Cadet on the back. It's an awesome piece. Kind of tells you about this product a little bit more, and it just again ties together that entire nostalgia. We have so many freaking awesome pieces in here. I want to also bring in a very, very special guest, Maggie Maddox. Maggie's always hanging out in our chat when we do these streams and giving awesome shipping updates because she works so closely on that pipeline, right? Getting the stuff to the people, right? You know, once our job is done, yours begins, right?
Yes.
And so
Begins
you had
a little bit before that, but we overlap a little.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'm like the inventory logistics manager, so I keep an eye on all of our inbound shipments and the movement from the fulfillment locations and everything.
Yeah, and it's such a crucial part of what we do. So really lucky to have you. And we're gonna go over your picks here, but also stay tuned because Maggie has some shipping updates, which we're gonna try to have more often on these streams. We thought it was a really good idea, and she can provide that information. But yeah, a great piece that you highlighted that I'm glad you did is the Daria Mondo squads. And why did you include that one?
I have them right here, but yeah, those are my favorite. I mean, talk about like nostalgia value and everything. I remember, you know, watching. I was little, but I have an older sister, so like I always got to watch Daria with her. And yeah, I love it. I love that it comes with all the different swappable parts, like a lot of our 1/6 scales do. You know, the different hands, the different heads, and accessories and stuff. So that one was really fun.
It's an awesome piece, and I think it's so cool because when we start released them, we noticed that we got so many first-time customers because of the Daria set, and it speaks to the fact that we, you know, opened up something for people who may love what we do, but that we're not like serving their fandoms. But Daria connected for a lot of people, and Mondo squads in general, right? You open that box, you got a lot to go through, right?
I learned when doing the shipments for these guys, for Daria and Jane, that apparently Daria is very big in France.
No way.
I've never seen so many orders to France than Daria and Jane. It was really interesting.
That's amazing. So yeah, rad piece. I'm so glad you highlighted it. Of course, you included the great Jesse Hernandez Urban Aztec Ghidorah. What made it stand out for you? Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I love Jesse's style.
Yeah.
I like that this one because it matches my hair. But no, like it's and those collars.
Yeah, it's crazy. It has incredible shelf presence, right?
Oh, they're beautiful. I can't wait to actually like see it in person and get my hands on one. So
same here. And then you mentioned Tila as something that had to be on there for what reasons?
I like her. Again, I feel like there's a resemblance.
Yes.
This is my natural hair color.
Okay, cool.
I think of all the 1/6 scales we've done lately, I really loved her. A close second was Rogue. I just like the ladies. I noticed just completely coincidentally, like not even on purpose, I noticed that most of the 1/6 scales I've been buying have been the female ones.
Yeah.
They're just really cool. They're
badass, they're beautiful, and they have great presence, and it's really hard to execute that. So it's funny because when you see like a female character done right, it's a major achievement. It's a hard thing to translate and balance, right, Hector?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's one of the hardest things to get right because there's a fine balance between just like you're saying, like empowering the figure and making it look awesome and making it look like she can, you know, it could kick He-Man's ass or whoever it is, right? Like but also, you know, making them you know, just a representation of what the you know, the history of the character was, whether it's they're beautiful or whether they're more reserved or whatever. It's just a part of that. It's cool.
Yeah, I love it. And so Maggie, thank you for those picks. It's awesome to get your feedback on that. And you mentioned that you might have some updates for shipping, because we, believe it or not, I get a ton of DMs. I'm sure, Hector, you do too. People asking, hey, what's up with this? When is that? What's it? Even tonight in the comments, I saw some of them. So what can you share in that respect?
We've got a lot shipping in the next few weeks.
Big holiday.
I know what's landing right now at our warehouse to ship. Scott Pilgrim. You guys are going to start to see those ship out soon. The Mirage and the regular TMNTs. I believe the James Groman Godzillas are coming pretty soon. And the rest of the Urban Aztec Godzillas. And then probably towards the end of the month, maybe early January, mid-January, All Real Monsters will be arriving and shipping out. And then we've got a bunch that will be shipping straight to the factory. So if you live in the certain regions that we can do the DHL Express shipments, Spider-Man's going out any day now. That's the regular exclusive.
Someone was just asking about that. Spider-Man's any day now. Y'all heard?
Yeah, I've made the shipping labels. It's just a matter of getting them picked up from the factory. We've got. And this is all in like the next couple 2 to 3 weeks. Scarecrow, Faker, Sky Sled, Venom, Uncanny Rogue, Uncanny Omega Red, and the standalone on a Scareglow Deluxe. So not the bundle quite yet, because he has to ship with Scaremare. But if you bought just the Scareglow, that'll be shipping straight from the factory very, very soon.
That's a giant update, I think.
Yeah, I think you just blew everybody's minds, because I was
This is what I've been working on for the last all week, and last week is just making all of those shipments and going through everybody's addresses and fixing them and getting labels made.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. Because I feel like before you came in, I was reading comments. I just wait till Maggie comes on. Just wait till Maggie comes on. So yeah, you hit a bunch of the big ones. So if you didn't catch all that, you'll have to rewind this and listen to her say it again, because she dropped a bunch of pieces that are coming out very, 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 very soon.
Another one I'm excited that it's loaded to go on the boat. And so it probably won't get to us until maybe late January or early February. But the Anti-Eternia Battle Cat is on his way soon as well.
Very, very cool.
But
awesome.
Again, too big, had to go on a boat. So
I love that. Awesome. Well, you guys, we did it. Let's bring the crew back out.
There's one more. Yes, because Peter, because you requested her.
Oh, bring her in.
She's right here.
Bring her in.
Hi.
I'm punting everybody back out. Bye. Hey, a Hillary sighting. Hillary, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, I was painting downstairs and decided that I would make an entrance because you invited me.
100. Well, first of all, you're always invited. Everybody loves the work that you do. The paint apps are incredible, and it's getting to be a thing now where people DM me to say, "Hey, that thing that you guys showed off is Hillary doing the paint apps on it," you know, and they'll say it'd be awesome if she does this and if she does that. And so it's definitely getting to the point where people know you and your work, and I think it's important that you.
Do you have a top 3?
I do have a top 3.
Bring it out.
What are your top 3? Oh, you actually have them.
He has them. She brought them up.
That's how you do it.
So to start.
Yes.
Peter, you already, I've talked to you about this so many times, but Creature was always just one of my favorite classic films. It's what made me want to get into being a makeup artist.
No way.
So obviously had to make my top 3.
Yes, I love that. That's not what.
That's what he meant, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What else you got? Oh, yes. That's my favorite one.
I just, James Groman is such a good dude and so talented and
salt of the earth.
Yes, just one of the nicest people you could meet. And so getting to work on something that he designed was it was so cool.
100%.
And you have one more?
And then one more.
This is one of my favorites that you've done.
This one's very special to me.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Oh, dude. I think you converted so many people with these figures this year with these paint apps on them, because I think people were like thinking they're going to be this and that. And I just got a bunch of DMs today from people who were like, I knew they were going to be cool, but I think I need to go get the other ones now because this thing's incredible. So great work on that. Why is it so special to you?
Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, the just the colors it's clearly turquoise is like one of my favorite colors, so that was a really fun thing to do. But it's also special to me because Hector sculpted it, so getting to take it from start to finish was really nice in the same household. So
I love that. That's an amazing thing. We kind of take it for granted to some extent, but it's important that people know that there are a lot of projects that Hector sculpts, Hillary paints, and then it goes out to the people. And that's such a cool thing that we do here. And important that you come on and talk about it and take about it. Look, King Panther says, Hector and Hillary, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Granger Perry, love my glitter Kong. Kongs are just arriving now. People are being blown away.
To get them.
Brian Carr, Hillary's paints are awesome.
Thank you,
A
Brian.
wild Hillary appears. Yeah, so really, really awesome. And so let's bring everybody back on now for real. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. We got everybody. Hell yeah. So yeah, some folks had to get going, but everybody else I got in. Yes, awesome. Guys, thank you all for spending the time with us to do this and show all your picks for the year. I know it was tough. Nolan, I know you wanted to give a couple shout outs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just wanted to call out a couple people on my team that have really, allowed me to kind of, build this out more and grow. And so Justin Goers and Jamie Peacock have been absolutely instrumental to how we operate. Like Justin is absolutely nailing all of our video assets that go out for our social media. He's 90% of what you see on our social channels and on our product pages, and finalizing all the images, and even working with John for finalizing our posters. And he's across the board everywhere, and he's incredibly helpful. And then Jamie came on like 6 months ago to help me out on the back end with records, and she just
been killing it.
Hit the ground running. Absolutely incredible. She comes to me with ideas from the conception to finalizing to everything. Like I said, I couldn't do it without them. They've been incredible to work with.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and of course, a big thank you to everybody watching. It's amazing. We got almost 200 people watching at this moment.
That's a good,
at this moment.
Right. I want to even review that real quick too. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that work at Mondo.
Yeah,
Bob Fulkerson. We have Falcon, who does so much amazing stuff. If you guys have been to any of our shows lately, you probably met Falcon. She's awesome. Who else? The customer service people.
Customer service.
Mac, who's one of the customer service. I think we have the best out there,
yes.
In the industry, and that's because of Mac, and those folks over there. Tori E in licensing, like we mentioned, and of course Carrie Novotny, and just everybody here. And on my team as well, Mark Bristow, and Brandon Gash and Nathan Tharana.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Grace and John. I
Yes.
work closely with them both on posters. I know Nolan works with Grace a lot on pins and apparel. But lots of folks.
There's so many people behind the scenes making this ship sail. So it's
100%. Yeah, it's an insane undergoing. I really love that we get to do these streams and you guys get to meet so many of the people that work here. And like I said, there's so many more that you haven't met yet, and hopefully will as the months go on. Someone mentioned 2025 preview, bruh. Digest 2024.
I gave you one thing.
Yeah,
we still are.
I gave you one thing to show, but we should give some.
You wanted me to show that?
Yeah, but in the spirit of giving, and it's holidays, we should give away some things.
Oh, okay. You get the trivia ready. I'm gonna get this ready to show.
I know. Fine. I have one question.
Okay. Do that first.
I don't know what should be the prize. What are the prizes?
Gift
cards.
Yeah, we'll do $50 gift cards.
Mirage turtle set.
Oh, okay, a Mirage turtle set. We'll do that.
I've got extras. I can do that.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Anything else from any other team?
We can do Coraline. We can do a Coraline. We can do a Scavenger's Reign. I know we talked a lot about those.
Okay, so we'll do a set, a Coraline, a Scavenger's Reign. Tommy, what are you giving away?
You are giving away a buzz off.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dang, that's great.
Do it. Okay, a buzz off.
All right, so for the first one, we'll be 4 buzz off, and it's a Buzz Off related question. What is the race of Buzz Off?
And we said it.
We said earlier in the in the stream. Oh, I see someone.
The first one that came in, I have Giraffe. Giraffe, you got it, sir. Congratulations, ma'am. Congratulations. Remember to email support@mondoshop.com and you got a free Buzz Off. Wow.
Coming your way sometime next year.
Amazing. Support @mondoshop.com. Let them know you won Tommy's copy of Buzz Off.
Yes.
While we come up with the next question real quick, Hector very generously wanted me to reveal this bad boy. What can you say here?
It's just a tease of something that's coming next year. I won't say what it is, and those who know will know.
Awesome. Okay, I like that. Boom. That's a sneak peek. Someone can screenshot.
That's a sneak peek. Yeah, for sure.
Hot off.
All right, congrats, Giraffe. You won Buzz Off. Tommy won't have one, but that's fine. And so it's fine. He's got enough.
All right, so we have a few more to give away. A couple records.
Cam.
A turtle set.
Yeah.
Cam, we're gonna give away 2 records. Cam, Nolan, what's a good trivia question for records right now?
What's the planet that Scavenger's Reign takes place on?
Oh,
that's a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to trust you on the answer. I do not know the planet that Scavenger's Reign takes place on. I hear some clickety clacking. Is it Venus?
Nope.
Helps. It was one of our variants.
Yep.
Oh.
Our variants was named after it.
I'm wondering if it's not Uranus. Is it?
It's
Vesta?
It's not in our solar system. All right.
Is it Vesta?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Vesta.
it.
Jordy,
That's it.
congratulations.
Yes.
You got both Scavenger's Reign and Coraline vinyl coming. You just email support@mondoshop.com. Let them know that Cam said you could have 2 records, not just
2
one.
records.
And you're gonna have them coming your way. Amazing.
Everyone that said Uranus, go watch the show. It's so good.
It's better than that stupid joke. All right.
We have a Mirage set.
And the Mirage turtle set.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
That means all 4 turtles. Right, Maggie? You're not gonna pick one out?
They come in one big box.
One big box. All right. So what is the question for that set? Brewer, give us a good question, man.
All right. Well, so it's Mirage. So, creator of the Ninja Turtles, co-creator Kevin Eastman. What state is he from?
Ooh, all right. This is gonna be the end of our stream right here. And what state is Kevin Eastman from? First person that gets it wins the whole set. Is it Maine?
It's Maine. Yeah.
Oh, I think that is
Ariel.
Josh Frost. Joshua Frost. It was the first person. Where'd it go? Just trust me, you got it, Josh Frost. You want it. Josh Frost, a set of TMNT Mirage variant turtles. Congratulations, sir. Email support@mondoshop.com. And with that, I gotta get the hell out of here. It's my brother-in-law's birthday, and the candles have all melted on the cake.
They've been waiting for you.
They're waiting for me. It's not even my birthday. I love you guys very much. Thank you for joining us here for real. All you guys, I love this team so freaking much. Working with you guys is a joy, and getting to celebrate like this is the best. And again, to everybody watching, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting. I saw so many people with comments saying they got their first Mondo piece this year. It's huge. So thank you, and please continue to support us. It makes all the difference.
Happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year.
Holidays. Now, this is a tradition. Everybody wave now and hold the wave until I tell you, because I got to end the stream and it takes like a minute. Ready? Go. And we are waving. Goodbye.